Hey everyone, it's Marla. Hope that you're all doing well. Just thought I would touch base today and talk a little bit about the changes that are happening to us energetically and physically. It's been a lot. And I think maybe these are some of the most intense changes we've experienced yet. And they're not only, like I said, affecting our energetic body, but I'm getting that they're having an effect on our physical body. And I want to share some of this so that if you're experiencing these ascension symptoms, you can kind of connect what they're about so they're not causing you stress. And stress is really the operative word because how it's affecting the body is it's putting our bodies under stress and we're reacting to that. But let's start at the beginning. So these changes became more intense around the 7-7 gateway. And then with the Lion's Gate energy, they just got really amplified. And yeah, it has been pretty intense. So the kind of core energy around this has to do with healing the separation wound. I'm sure that's no surprise to anybody because this is something that we've been working on for quite a while. And the good news is that this is really showing us that some great strides are being made in ending the separation. Because what's happening is our soul star chakra is being greatly activated right now. Now, the soul star chakra is located above our head. There's a little bit of a debate about where it's located. Could be like a foot to 3 feet above our heads. It's the 8th chakra. And the soul star chakra is the gateway to divine love and wisdom. One of the other words for this chakra is the bridge chakra. And haven't we been talking about that bridge energy for so long? And this bridge that we are building is a stronger connection to our multi-dimensional self. So the soul star chakra connects us to the non-physical aspects of ourself, and it connects us into other dimensions. So we're talking about past lives, for example. It connects us into the Akash. If you recall in the reading that I did for the August energy, we had the cards, the Akashic Field and the Akashic Library, which I feel was letting us know that we were going to be working on connecting into those fields. It connects us with mediumship, with trance mediumship, with kind of trances that we would have going into past life regressions like QHHT. And it's also very much connected to our sense of purpose, our mission, and of course, the universal and the cosmic energies. So this is a little bit different than the crown chakra in that the crown chakra still connects us more with our physical self, and we do receive guidance through our crown chakra, but it's like a little bit lower of a frequency where really what we're doing with this activation of the soul star chakra is we're leaving separation because this is helping us feel more connected to source, to the universe. And at this point in our energetic field, this is where we begin to pull out of duality and merge into one consciousness. And it connects us to our high self and our soul energy. And in that way, connecting into the soul, that's how we're connecting into our multidimensional selves and the past lives and our Akashic records and that sort of thing. So yeah, this is really good news that this is happening because we are ultimately going to feel more unified, more peaceful, more at one. This is really healing the separation and division within society. And of course, it's going to help twin flames, because when we create this bridge chakra, it begins to end those feelings of separation that we have with our twin. You know, when I do the SRTs, and I always, not always, but I often apply the pattern of divine love, which is a triangle representing the masculine and feminine and that connection with source. So this activation of this chakra is helping us in that source energy connection. So very good news. On the other hand, it's not an easy energy to integrate for a lot of people. And that's what we're going to get into today. What you might be experiencing as this chakra is integrating. One of the things that it's doing is it's really activating our third eye chakra as well. And so for a lot of you, what the issue is has this chakra is coming online. This chakra is unbalanced and it's having a cascade. This chakra is connected to all the other chakras, and it's creating an imbalance, especially within the third eye chakra, the root chakra, and then the heart chakra on a much lesser extent. So, has this chakra comes online, and it's opening us up to these other realities. Like literally, this is going to be changing our perspective of reality. And you might be at a point where you're really feeling it. It's very easy right now, especially if you become ungrounded, to feel like you don't know what reality that you're in, like literally questioning, where am I? You know, what dimension am I in? You might have like little bleed throughs of other lifetimes, for instance. You might not have clarity, especially when it comes to like purpose, mission, creative energy in the sense of inspiration. You may not be feeling very inspired right now as we bring on more of this chakra and it's affecting other chakras. So all of those things are perfectly normal. The other thing is it can make you feel strange in your physical body and give you actual physical symptoms, such as feeling dizzy, feeling disconnected, feeling angry, feeling confused. Again, a little bit of like maybe not knowing where you are, or confusion in the sense of maybe a few months ago you had a lot of clarity about what your purpose was and how you were going to get there. And now all of a sudden it's like, ooh, like feeling very disconnected and not knowing what is happening, what you're supposed to be doing. And I feel like as we got towards the end of August, this is the 29th that I'm filming this, there is a little bit more clarity coming in and a little bit more inspiration. And so one of the things that I want to say to help anchor and align and stimulate these chakras is creative expression. So if you're feeling inspired, make sure that you take some time to work on whatever it is that is inspiring you. Like one of the changes this chakra is going to make as it becomes more active is we are getting divine inspiration. And that's going to come through for many of you, like really changing what you're doing here on earth, because suddenly like, it's like, yeah, wisdom, knowledge, things that are coming from this universal energy, from source energy, from your higher self are going to be able to come in and you're going to channel that out, has some kind of creative energy. And that's how you'll be leveling up in your purpose. But for right now, it can feel a little bit unclear or wonky, or there can be a lot of fear coming up, because as we clear this separation and these chakras are getting activated, it's bringing up a lot of that persecution energy, right? Because a lot of you now, you know what your next step is, albeit a little bit of not clear. But let me go back and say that perhaps some of what is making you not feel clear right now is because as you prepare to like go the next step, all this past life stuff of when you were persecuted is going to show up. And again, it's activating the abandonment separation wound, because whether it's conscious or subconscious for you, it's like, oh, when you did that in that lifetime, everybody abandoned you. When you did that, everybody hated you. They threw you in prison. Maybe they executed you, excommunicated you. And so that's where the stress is coming into our body, because it's actually creating this multidimensional fight or flight energy. Again, you don't necessarily have to be conscious of it to be experiencing it, but it can be at such a low level that maybe your mind isn't fully registering it. But what matters is it's registering in your body. Has like, I don't feel safe. This is where the root chakra comes in, because our root chakra is becoming over or understimulated. And what that's doing is throwing the root chakra off so that we're not feeling safe and we're not feeling grounded, which is, we really need to be aware of that and focus on grounding, because the less grounded we are, the more that kind of weird feelings of the being multidimensional, not questioning reality is going to be coming in. And then, yeah, the third eye chakra. So another thing that could that you could be experiencing is having your third eye chakra come more online. Again, it's likely that the third eye chakra is also experiencing some kind of imbalance, either being over or understimulated, has the energy and activations flow through these chakras. So you could be feeling kind of disconnected spiritually, maybe not really connected to your guides, or maybe where you often have a lot of clarity when it comes to your psychic abilities, doing readings for people or doing healings for people, maybe a little bit harder to connect into that. You may not be feeling as connected to your twin flame, for example, right now because of those shifts. If your third eye is overstimulated, again, you could be feeling dizzy, unclear. You could be questioning like what reality you're in. But you could also be connected maybe into like seeing new things, seeing people's auras, seeing new spirits, connecting into new spirit guides, connecting into the Akashic records again. So you might be experiencing like a real expansion in your psychic abilities, which for some of you, that might be causing stress too, because you might be like, maybe you're not fully feeling ready for that to happen. As these are activated, what is happening is things are clearing out. Like what is causing the imbalances are the fears, the programming, the past life energy. And so that needs to clear out of our bodies to help us bring this all into alignment and having everything work together. So your chakras, it's like they're releasing energy, and this can be having an effect on your aura, and it can be having an effect on your physical body. Has the third eye chakra is changing and expanding. It's having an impact on the actual physical body in the form of that gland. Pineal gland releases melatonin. And so for some of you, your body may be releasing less melatonin than usual. Now, let's be clear. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice, and this is not to take the place of your medical doctor's advice. Again, take what resonates with you as well. This maybe applies to you, maybe it doesn't apply to you. But you may be feeling some effects of having less melatonin in your body, or maybe for some of you, you could be overactivated and you could have more melatonin, I suppose. But I feel like for most people, it's going to be less. So, of course, this could be affecting your sleep on one level. But another thing is it might be affecting your blood sugar levels, because melatonin works with insulin and sugar regulation. So some of you, if you're feeling dizzy, for example, oh, one of the things I didn't mention was panic attacks, especially when that dizziness feeling comes up. There could be a feeling of panic. It could be bringing up like medical trauma that you've experienced. You could be feeling like, oh my God, I'm going to pass out. And it can also be trauma that maybe is connected into some kind of multidimensional energy. So dizziness and panic and anxiety and worry could be something that you're experiencing kind of all bundled up. So yeah, for some of you, that could be not necessarily a panic attack, but it could be low blood sugar. So something that you might want to try if you're experiencing that is eating more complex carbohydrates. Especially, I know, like, oh, when we awaken, we have a lot of changes in our digestive system and our levels of sensitivity, and we become very sensitive to a lot of foods, for instance, and we have to all devise the right diet that's particular to us. So, maybe some of you are on keto or carnivore or something, and that's what you run best on. And that's fine normally. But right now, because of what we're experiencing energetically and physically, consider having a little bit more carbohydrates if you're having these weird symptoms. And the guides are kind of specific in that they want to make sure it's complex carbohydrates and not like processed sugars, because the processed sugars could impact this in an even more negative way, because that is going to even to a greater extent dysregulate the kind of insulin blood sugar chain. Again, like I said, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know the mechanisms of all these things. I'm just trying to share with you what I'm getting from my guides and from my intuition. Now, I did briefly mention the heart too, and the heart chakra could be activated because, of course, the heart chakras, all the chakras, like, they have to work together. They're not isolated. But with the heart chakra being activated, the actual heart can get activated as well. And so that dizziness could also be coming from low blood pressure. So you might want to just consider that and see what your blood pressure is doing. And like, one thing that I got about that was drink more water can help There's a mechanism within the body. Again, I'm not a doctor, that if you drink more water, it can help your blood pressure. Obviously, if you have more liquid in your body, the more blood you have, and that can raise your blood pressure. I even recently have been adding some trace mineral supplements that are like sea salt into my water. I don't do that with I buy water in big jugs. I don't do that with every single one, but I have done that recently to help kind of stabilize uh, what might be low blood pressure situations. And again, that can cause a feeling of panic when we start feeling that energy. And then with the root chakra stuff going on, this is having an effect on our digestive system. Specifically for most of you, it's going to be the large intestine, and to a lesser extent, the smaller intestine. But what I'm getting as far as the physical body is that basically, like, the root chakra is one aspect that's affecting that, but also the stress that we're under. So I mentioned the multidimensional stress, and not sure if I mentioned the stress of like maybe having a panic attack or having anxiety or feelings of abandonment, feelings of depression. And I know that I've talked about feeling a little bit depressed, mentioned that in a video somewhere, and a lot of you also said that you were feeling depressed. And as I said, I'm not normally a person that feels depressed, at least not for anything long term. But again, it's all connected to these changes because we're clearing out this old negative energy. So that stress, that fight or flight that is going on, perhaps very low under your radar, is creating a response, a stress response in the body that is affecting the immune system. When this happens, it activates the immune system, especially if you're someone that you know have a lot of problems with your digestive system and things like leaky gut and dysbiosis and candida and parasites. If you struggle with that, then you know the the pain of trying to get your digestive system into a good functioning system. And for some of you, I bet you actually were feeling quite good about yourself. And then these last couple of months, there's these things getting stirred up again, and you're probably like, what the hell is going on? And like that stress response and immune response can have a lot of down system reactions. I think what's important to mention here about that is that it can also be contributing to like fears, anxiety, being ungrounded. One thing is like because the root chakra is not balanced, things could just be like not moving through very rapidly, and that can be causing problems. The immune stuff can be creating inflammation in the body, and that inflammation can go all over. So I was talking with a friend of mine earlier, and we were comparing what's going on with us, and we are both having issues with our feet. And that's like when I get an inflammation response from some kind of immune response, one of the first places I get that is in my feet. So think about what kinds of pains you're experiencing, and that could tell you the level of immune response and therefore inflammation that's in your body. And, you know, you could be having like the inflammation in the intestinal tract. You could be having inflammation in the back, in the hips. The feet, is another mechanism that is part of our grounding system. So the feet might be doing double duty because it's trying to help us ground. Oh, headaches are another thing that they mentioned you could be having, and headaches feeling like they're literally in your third eye and like in the forehead or possibly on the top of the head too. And you could just be feeling more sensitive in general, sensitive to sounds. When we talk about stress response and immune response, one of the first things I go to is food. But the guides were telling me today that it's also things within our home, um, things that have a lot of fragrance, even like soaps, cosmetics, candles, incense, perfumes. We can have sensitivities to that. There can be mold in our house, as we are kind of like in the late summer here. There can be allergens like ragweed out in the environment. In fact, like mold and funguses have been coming up a lot when I've been doing sessions with people. Sometimes it's an energetic mold or fungus, sometimes it's physical. But, oftentimes things start in our etheric body first, and then they translate into our physical body. So, very important to make sure that you're grounding, getting out in nature. I mean, one of the things that they were saying about the contaminants that might be in our home or in cosmetics and soaps, in cleaning products, is that one of the reasons they say get outside is because outside, for the most part, depending on where you are outside, you are hopefully breathing in fresh air that doesn't have a lot of these contaminations. Now, mind you, if you have bad allergies, then outside may not be great for you. But if you have your allergies under control, go outside, breathe the fresh air, get in the sunshine, get in the grass. Doing yoga is another great way to ground, and there's some videos out there. If you guys watch like yoga with Adrienne, for example, she has some videos that are specifically for the root chakra and for grounding that are very good. You can eat grounding foods, and I'm sure there's some grounding meditations that you can find. You want to be paying attention to your detoxification pathways because it's the stress response can back up the detoxification pathways. So you want to focus on that, but I would say be careful. Like Epsom salt bath is probably a good thing as far as a detoxification. Drinking water is a good thing. But you probably don't want to be doing like 3 castor oil packs a day because then that can release too many toxins and just make things worse. So if you're experiencing these symptoms, you want to be doing that very gently. Some of the things that I'm getting to help with the third eye and the soul star chakra, like getting outside, as I mentioned, can help with that. I'm also getting the things that we can do, the creative expression, which I mentioned, using I am statements, um, like Saint Germain teaches. Not sure. I have yet to do a video on I am statements. It's something that I've been kind of had on the back burner thinking about, but you can create these on your own because they just have to start with I am and then whatever you need. I am grounded and aligned. I am connected to source energy. I am in universal flow. Those kind of statements. You can also use Ho'oponopono to help with this. And you would just use Ho'oponopono like with God. You don't need to do it with another person unless you know specifically that you're dealing with some kind of karmic clearing aspect. And I'm also getting the violet flame as well, can help with these. I would say with the violet flame, just be careful because I feel like the violet flame could be ungrounding. And then they've given me some crystals to mention. So for the soul star chakra, the crystals that I'm getting are golden healer and celestite. So golden healer, they're saying to use has an elixir. In fact, most of these crystals, what I'm getting is to make an elixir out of them. I made this one. Actually, my spirit guides told me to make this back in February. This is golden healer elixir. So you just want to put the crystal in spring water, purified water, and then set it out in the sun and leave it there for however long your own intuition tells you to leave it there. I think I left mine for a couple of weeks. And then you can just put it in these bottles and you can just spray it into your field or into the chakra that you're looking to cleanse. Celestite, though, do not put celestite in water because I believe that celestite is water soluble. So you're not going to have much left if you put it in water. But they're saying to use the celestite on the chakra. So I would say lay down and put that above your head. For the third eye chakra, I'm getting aventurine and agate would be crystals to use and to make elixirs out of them. And then for the root chakra, black obsidian and Apache tears were the specific chakras. Again, making an elixir, or you can still always apply these crystals directly to the chakra as well, or keep them close. Sometimes I put them on my nightstand. You can put them under your bed, under your mattress, under your pillow, whatever that can help. Keep them in your pockets. Follow your own intuition. And yeah, drink lots of water. So I hope that this helped somebody out there. Again, probably not all of you need this, but maybe some of you need this information. Let me know in the comments if you're feeling these things. I'm going to try to do an SRT clearing for the month of September. We are going into eclipse season. September is going to be impactful as well because we have an eclipse on the 17th. Then we have the equinox. Forget the exact date of the equinox. And the equinox is going to be important this year. And then we have another eclipse on October 2nd. So this is going to be intense, and it's, taking us into the election energy here in the United States, which is all just playing a part of this duality and trying to end duality. And yeah, I guess another thing that I want to mention is this chakra coming online, there could be interference around it because not all beings want us to connect to this part of ourselves. So like the dark energy doesn't want us to connect with divine wisdom and divine love. They want to keep us hypnotized and in the matrix. So for some of you, some of the things that you might be going through or clearing has to do with releasing some of the matrix energy. And there can be like relationships with other people, especially as they relate to past life stuff that can be activated at this time. But yeah, we might have darker forces also trying to keep us from aligning and receiving these activations. I mean, right now, I don't think that they can keep us, but keep light workers and those that have reached a certain level, they're not going to stop us. But, the masses, I don't know. But yeah, this is trying to lead us out of this duality consciousness. As we are leaving it, we're clearing so much of it and it's kind of activating it. So it's intense. But what it can do for us that are here to help and to be guides for other people and for the masses is remind us that we don't have to choose to live in duality, but we can return to unity and to oneness and reconnect with these higher aspects of ourselves. So watch for that SRT, because I'm sure there's going to be aspects in the clearing of that SRT that can help. Oh, and one more thing. Another thing that's been coming up a lot is narcissistic abuse has something that's kind of a karmic aspect that's being released as we clear the persecution and the shaming and the rejection energies. I did post that SRT clearing for narcissistic abuse, which at the time that I made that, I didn't connect it to what was being released right now. That came secondary. So that higher knowing of needing that was coming from somewhere. So sending you guys all so much love, and I'll speak to you soon.